If you guys love the NFL Draft, you have come to the right spot. This is our NFL Draft channel. It's a hub for all the different NFL Draft videos we do across Chat Sports, from the main coverage, like the mock draft you're about to see that originally aired on that channel, and all of our team coverage, because we cover the draft for all the NFL teams as well. If you want draft videos from a wide variety of hosts here at Chat Sports, hit that sub button right now. One week left, just the College Football National Championship game left. It's time for a new NFL mock draft. I've got Marvin Harrison at number 1. We have not done a mock draft yet that features the Bears not going quarterback. Good time to always mix it up, see how it impacts the draft selections, etc. The Bears have a very fun and yet challenging decision to make. Do you keep Justin Fields, who's played much better the past few weeks, but are you going to keep the coaching staff or reset the coaching staff? Do you reset the quarterback contract timeline, go younger and go potentially more upside with Caleb Williams, Drake Maye, who are going to be viewed as better prospects coming out than Justin Fields was? Do you just trade down? Do you take Marvin Harrison, number 1? I think the more likely outcome is you either take quarterback or trade down. Probably still get Marvin Harrison because you don't want to move too far back beyond those top couple of picks there. So what should the Bears do with that number 1 pick? I do not think there is a no-doubt answer right now. I think you can make strong arguments for all of them. What would you do? T for trade it, K for keep it, as we're doing the same thing we did last year. That pick, by the way, from Carolina. Commanders at number 2, Caleb Williams gets to go to his hometown team. He's from the D.C. area, the extended D.C. area. Commanders get a franchise guy at number 2, and so do the Patriots at number 3 with Drake Maye. In some order, these are going to be your top 3 picks. Marvin Harrison Jr., Caleb Williams, Drake Maye. Maybe not 1, 2, 3 in that order. Might even be reversed altogether. It's very possible. It's a really good class for those 3 guys. Arizona then misses out on the top 2 quarterbacks and Marvin Harrison Jr. Malik Nabers is a pretty damn good consolation prize. I would almost argue he might be closer to Marvin Harrison Jr. than like the rest of the wide receivers in this class. You want explosive plays? There you go. Number 5 is Jayden Daniels, the quarterback out of LSU. The Giants get their eventual Daniel Jones replacement. Daniels does remind me a decent amount of one Lamar Jackson. He's got the playmaking ability through the air and on the ground. You're eating the year of Daniel Jones' contract, and then you move on, but it is a chance to get I think a real franchise guy in there for New York. The Chargers at 6, I don't know what what the Chargers are going to do. I think they're going to have to reset their defense, move on from a lot of expensive players. Potentially both edges is actually in play with the way those contracts are set up. I don't love the defensive players, but you don't need a receiver. You could go offensive line, but you might be okay there. I think a trade down would be ideal for LA if they're able to swing it. Now, once the regular season ends, do you want a new NFL mock draft on that Monday? Or maybe Tuesday. If you do, Y for yes at the pin comment, N for no if the ad comes, go vote. I assume it's all yeses, but we'll let democracy reign here. The Titans at number 7. We'll move. Let's just do Tennessee and the Jets together. Congrats, I fixed your left tackle problem. Fashanu and Joe Alt are both fantastic prospects. They're worthy being the number 1 offensive tackle in most classes. I think they'd be above Paris Johnson last year. Tennessee has a need. The Jets have a need. Offensive tackle picks aren't like normally hyped or celebrated because it's offensive line. It would be by both of these franchises. Let's get weird with it. Number 9, J.J. McCarthy, who had maybe the worst opening throw I've ever seen in a bad game of that caliber, but then settled in and helped Michigan upset Alabama. If he wins the national championship, we know how teams like that. He's a winner, right? He actually made some good plays, avoided the top Bama corners for the most part there. I think his fit in Atlanta with what Arthur Smith wants to do actually would be a really good one. And the other quarterback in the CFP championship game we'll get to, I like a fit with a different team for him. The Bears then at number 10. This pick is their own. Latu out of UCLA. They need more pass rush help. There's an impact player who's, I think, a decent run stopper as well. Not going to be like the greatest tester, I don't think, and there are massive medical concerns that have to be verified. But if the medical checks out, he's in the running for top defensive player for me in this year's class. Number 11 and number 12, we will also group together. These teams need corners, and they got the two Bama boys, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Terrion Arnold. I think the Arnold fit in Minnesota is really good because he can do some inside and outside stuff more so than Kool-Aid McKinstry can. Arnold was more of a playmaker this year, which Brian Flores has had the tendency to love in his corners, assuming Flores stays there. The Raiders, meanwhile, they still need some corner help. Jack Jones is impressed as kind of the playmaking guy. McKinstry's a bit more of the lockdown guy. Teams did not throw at Kool-Aid McKinstry. There's an argument for both of these guys being the better Alabama quarterback prospect. You can vote in the comments section. KM for Kool-Aid McKinstry, TA for Terrion Arnold. But I would also argue that teams didn't throw at Kool-Aid. I think they feared McKinstry a little bit more than Arnold. Both guys are very good. Pick one for me in the comments. The Saints at 13, they're in a very weird spot, and their contract situation's really bad. They messed up by being aggressive with the Derek Carr plan. They should have just eaten the dead money there, and now they're starting to really face some stress. They've always faced stress, but at a different level. Michael Thomas is not going to be back. Here's a dynamic, young, talented wide receiver, Rome Odunze, who is an awesome football player. Love his game. I didn't really know where to go with Denver at 14. They're in all these teams, Minnesota, Saints, Denver, Seattle to a certain extent. They're all like, they could go quarterback, not outside of the realm of possibility. Greg Dulcich can't stay healthy right now. I think, Sean Payton could see, I can make Brock Bowers my not as big Jimmy Graham and have great success in Denver. Plus, he's the best player on the board by a massive margin. Number 15, Jared Verse out of FSU. Seattle's pumped a ton of assets into the defense, and it's still not very good. So they got to keep trying. Verse, I think, would offer a little bit more run stopping than what they are accustomed to. Now, today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. It is daily fantasy made easy. You pick 2 to 6 player stat projections, more than, less than, on those stat projections. And if you do the flex play, you just got to get 2 out of 3 right. I got my flex play in the CFP semifinal for Michigan and Alabama, thanks to some backdoor Roman Wilson, Jalen Milroe running plays. But hey, the flex play paid out in the end. Here's my NFL pick this week. 9 of my last 13 in the regular season, by the way. Dak Prescott, more than passing yards. Rachaad White, more than rushing yards. Kenneth Walker, more than rushing yards. Picking bad Commanders pass defense, bad Panthers run defense, and bad Cardinals run defense. Like those numbers a lot. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Links in the comments section and the description of today's show. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS. The Bengals at 16, I know they need defensive help. J.C. Latham here is really good value, plug-and-play replacement for Jonah Williams, who will get, I believe, a surprisingly large amount of money in free agency. Arizona, I thought about corner. I also like Jerzon Newton a lot out of Illinois, an impact 3 technique. He's not the biggest player. I am okay with more undersized guys as far as I'm concerned. All right, this I think is a fun fit. The Steelers are riding with Mason Rudolph over Kenny Pickett. That says all we need to know about how they really feel about Kenny Pickett. I know they swapped out offensive coordinators. I get that. Rudolph has been playing well. I get the hot hand stuff. They don't have a franchise guy right now. They don't. I think Michael Penix, with his strengths of being able to push the ball downfield, with, to be fair, very significant medical concerns. He showed better under pressure movement against Texas. We'll see how he fares against an even better defense in Michigan. Big game for his stock there, too. If the medical checks out, I think he could very well be a first-round pick. I think his fit, deep balls to George Pickens with Deontay Johnson, if he gets his head back on straight, Pat Frying with the tight end, I think it's a really good fit in Pittsburgh. So will Michael Penix go in round 1? Medical, I think, is a huge question mark there, but I thought that game against Texas was one of his best games, always valuable when the entire nation's watching you. 1 for yes or 2 for no. Let's go to Green Bay. I don't know what the future holds for Jair Alexander. Regardless, they still need cornerback help because Alexander had got suspended for a game because he went out for the coin toss and almost blew it. Iowa's Cooper DeJean is a fantastic football player. Can play any corner spot. Love his fit in basically any defensive scheme. Tampa, I think Mike Evans comes back. I think. If not, there's your replacement, Keon Coleman out of FSU. I could see them going offensive line as well. That could be an under-the-radar fit for them. Another guard option to pair moving forward. I think it would be a good fit. But 20 for guards, just a little bit. There's some guys just a little bit early. You'll see them later on. Indianapolis, Brian Thomas Jr. I love this fit. I mean, Anthony Richardson, I assume you can keep Mike Pittman, that's fine. Josh Downs in the slot, Brian Thomas Jr. on the outside. You got your big body, vertical threat, your possession guy, and Michael Pittman is also a big body, and you can air it out more than you ever were able to once Richardson gets healthy. I really, really like that fit. The Jags, the Travion Walker pick's not there yet. That's okay. Josh Allen's playing great, but you need one more pass rusher. Robinson is an upside pick at edge. The stats are not there. The traits absolutely are, however. The Rams, here's your Jalen Ramsey replacement, Nate Wiggins, the corner. I like Wiggins' game a lot. He's long and lanky. I'm a fan of those types of guys. Love his fit in L.A. The Bills need another wide receiver. I am done with the Gabe Davis experiment. It's too inconsistent for me. So give me Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. He's not Marvin Harrison Jr. His numbers regressed this year with Kyle McCord at quarterback now at Syracuse instead of, top 10 quarterback in the NFL, C.J. Stroud, go figure. But I think is more of a reliable piece, can do some underneath stuff for you. I think he and Stephon Diggs are a fun 1-2 punch. You knew we were going receiver for the Chiefs, right? Everyone knew it, right? Troy Franklin brings you some speed. He's a little bit skinny. He's better than Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who somehow, even when he's open, is a 50-50 chance of catching the football. Tui was in Green Bay. He is not going to be back in Kansas City. Franklin subs in as a vertical threat. So how many wide receivers go in the first round? It's a really good wide receiver class. There's Ladd McConkey is probably going to go top 50. The Texas guys, the other Washington wide receivers too. It's a very good group. Predict it for me in the comment section right now. Eagles take Kalen King. The James Bradbury inconsistency stretch is back again, unfortunately. Denzel Burke out of Ohio State to the Detroit Lions. I think Burke had a really bounce-back season after being a bit up and down previously. Lions have some cheap options, short-term options at corner. They've allowed Nick Mullins to throw for 411 yards against them, and CeeDee Lamb to go for 227. So yeah, corner. Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo goes to Houston to pair with Derek Stingley. Mitchell might not be a household name. He's a MAC guy, but he's really good. Now we will wrap up for the first round with a run on offensive lineman. It's not the way I intended it, but it actually does make sense. Graham Barton, I think, could play guard or center in the NFL. Connor Williams, free agent coming off of injury, plug-and-play option there for Miami. I think he'd also be in play for Dallas at 30. Instead, they go with Amarius Mims. He has not played that much football, to be fair. When he's played, he's been really good. The tools and traits of that offensive tackle, just the way the board fell, there were no offensive line pick between 16 and 29. I don't know if it actually pans out that way in the real draft. These guys on this list here could easily go 10 or more picks higher, even 15 picks higher. Taliese Fuaga out of Oregon State. There's your new right tackle, San Francisco. Congratulations. Plug-and-play piece there. Tyler Guyton to the Ravens at 32. Very good player. I think, again, some really impressive traits there. Ronnie Stanley, he's good when he's healthy, but I don't know if he can stay healthy. We'll see if Morgan Moses comes back. He's getting a bit up there in age. You can plug Guyton in on the right side if Stanley is healthy. Round 2 picks for the two teams without a first-round selection. The Carolina Panthers, number 33. I like Jalen Polk a lot. I also like McMillan, too. I need somebody who can do more than just be old route runner Adam Thielen at receiver for Bryce Young. They need help. Offense got to be the way Carolina goes at pick 33. And pick 59, I don't think Patrick Paul's going to fall that far. If he does, jump all over him. The Browns have had issues on the offensive line. I think taking a guy that I think is probably going to be a top 40-ish player for me, we'll see where he stacks up in the end, at pick 59 in the projection with the sim, is actually a really good selection by Cleveland. Who did I leave off of my 2024 NFL mock draft? Plenty of names I don't include, I know. Sound off for me in the comment section right now. Some other top 2024 draft prospects you might mention. A.D. Mitchell or Xavier Worthy from Texas. Troy Fashanu from Washington. He's their left tackle, probably going to play guard in the NFL. Love me some Tyler Nubin, impact safety, best one in the class. JT Tuimoloau, I don't think I'll be as high on. NFL might be from a traits perspective. I think Jeremiah Trotter is the number one off-ball linebacker. I don't love the class. Not sure anyone will be a top 50 pick at inside linebacker, but you know who his dad is, so he's at least worth discussing.